Hi everyone, this is Helloangel.design. Today I'm going to show you how to make this tote bag. It's super easy to make, it's not so difficult. I attach a different fabric at the tote bag. For the bottom edge, it's a tie-dye fabric. You can use any fabric of your choice to make this kind of tote bag. And this is the front pocket. You can decide to add pocket at the front or you can decide not to. And when you look at inside, it also has inside pocket. I used the tie-dye to also make a design for the inside pocket. This is how it finally looks once you have done making your tote bag. It's very easy to make. I will take you step by step on how you can make this tote bag for yourself, or you can also make it as a gift for someone for this Christmas. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Click the notification bell. If you have any question, make a comment down below. If my tutorial has been helpful, don't forget to thumbs up. If you're a new subscriber, thank you so much for stopping by. If you're an old subscriber, thank you so much for watching my tutorial. And let's get started. Before we start to put the bag together, I'm going to show you the measurement that I have here. I have two different kinds of fabric. This is tie-dye fabric, while this is a cotton fabric. You can use any fabric of your choice. So the measurement of my front pocket, the length is 7¼ inch, while the width is 9 inch. You're just going to cut one pieces. And the length for my inside pocket, I'm going to also put a pocket inside. So the length is 7 inch. While the width is 9¼ inch. You cut two pieces of fabric. So I have two pieces right here. For the bottom edge, I'm going to attach this, also the tie-dye at the bottom edge of the tote bag. The length is 10 inch, while the width is 18.5 inch. You're just going to cut one pieces right here. This is my interfacing. And my main fabric, the length is 15.75 inch, while the width is 18.5 inch. You're going to cut 4 pieces for your main fabric. If you're using the same color of fabric, cut 4 pieces. If you're using a different fabric to lining your tote bag, make sure you cut 2 pieces for the lining, and you also cut 2 pieces for the main fabric. And for my handle, this is my handle. The length is 41 inch. You're also going to cut 2 pieces. When you cut your main fabric, make sure you cut your interfacing the same length with your main fabric. So let's put the bag together. First thing that you have to do, you open your main fabric. This is the back of my main fabric. And you take your interfacing. This is the glue side of my interfacing. Place it on top of it like this, and you are going to take it to your ironing board and press it all around. And you take the second pieces, you do the same thing. So go ahead and iron your interfacing on your fabric. I have ironed my interfacing on the fabric. This is how it is. The next thing that you have at the bottom edge, I'm going to measure the bust corner. So you place your measuring tape like this. I'm going to take a measurement of 3¼ inch right here. And then you move down, you do the same thing, 3¼ and then place your measuring tape again, 3¼ inch. And you come down to this side, you do the same thing, 3¼ Once you have done that, take your ruler, give it a straight mark. This is how it is. Once you have measured it like that, take your scissors, you just cut it out. You see the way it is, and then you come down to this other side, you do the same thing, you measure 3¼ inch. You do the same thing with your lining. You can even use this as a guide. Just place it like this. Take your marker, just go ahead and trace it out and cut it out, which is very easy. So go ahead and cut out. I have cut out my bust corner. The next thing that you have to do, from the bottom edge of your fabric, you're going to measure 4" inside. So you place your measuring tape, you measure down 4" like this, and you go all around to the end. You just measure all the way down 4". You can see how it is. You can take your ruler and give it a straight mark, or you can just leave it the way it is. Once you have done that, you come to the side of the bag. This is the side of the bag. So you place your measuring tape again. You're going to measure 5¼ inside. So you place your measuring tape like this. 5¼ is right here. And then you just keep measuring all the way down. Once you have done it like this, you come to the other side of the bag. You're going to also measure inside 5¼ So go ahead and measure it all around. I have measured the both sides together. The next thing that you have to do, you take the front pieces of pocket. This is the front pieces of pocket. What you're going to do, take it to your ironing board, fold the top inside 1 centimeter, then fold it again 1 centimeter and give it a nice press, and fold the side inside 1 centimeter, fold this other side inside 1 centimeter. So what you're going to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. Make sure the both sides are folded inside like this. Just go ahead and give it a top stitch all the way down. I have already top stitched. This is how it is. The next thing that you have to do, place it like this on your bag. This will be the front pocket. Just place it like this. Take one of your handle. So this is where you mark 5¼ Place it like this all the way down. You're going to pin that in place. Just go ahead and pin it in place. You turn the handle like this. Make sure it's not twisted. You come to this other side. You're going to place it just the same way you place this side, just like this, and go ahead and pin that in place all the way down. I have pinned it in place. This is how it is. This will be the front pocket of this bag. You can see how I designed the bag. You can always make your bag in a different way. So what you're going to do, before you take it to your sewing machine and stitch the handle in place, because you're not going to stitch it all the way to the end right here, you have to leave a gap. Then that will be where your stitches is going to end. So what you're going to do, you place your measuring tape from the very top of your bag like this. You're going to measure down 1¼ inch. So 1¼ inch is right here. And then you come down to this other side. You're going to measure that 1¼ inch so that you have a straight line. That is why I'm measuring it like this. The best way to do it, just take your pin so that you know this is 1¼ inch right here. You're going to stop right here when you're stitching all the way down, and then you come to this side, you stitch it all the way down. This is where you're going to stop. Make sure when you stitch it, you back stitch 2 to 3 times to secure the handle. You come down to the other side, you do the same thing. And you also take the second pieces, go ahead and also do the same thing. Measure 5¼ inch. On the other side, measure 5¼ inch. At the bottom edge, measure 4 inch. By this time, you are not going to add any pocket. Just the guideline for you to add your handle. That is why you have to measure the both side and the bottom edge. So go ahead and stitch them in place. I have stitched it in place. This is how it is right now, and this is my other pieces that I stitch it in place. The next thing that you have to do, put them together like this. You're going to pin the bottom edge. So just go ahead and pin it together. I have pinned the bottom edge of the toe back together. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. Once you have done with that, you take your inside pocket, put the both front of the fabric together like this, pin it all around, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. Don't forget to leave a gap so that you can turn your fabric inside out. Leave about 1.5 inch or 2 inch. So when you're done stitching, turn it inside out, take it to your ironing board and give it a nice press. Because this inside pocket, we are going to place it on our lining. So go ahead and stitch the inside pocket and the bottom edge of your bag together. I have stitched the bottom edge. This is how it is. I just press it very well and make sure I press the seam apart. This is how it is right now. The next thing that you have to do is to attach your bottom edge fabric on this bag. Before you do that, take your fabric to your ironing board, fold inside 0.5 centimeter, fold it again 1 centimeter, give it a nice press. You come to this side, fold inside 0.5 centimeter, fold it again 1 centimeter, give it a nice press. Put them together like this so that you have a center crease. So this will be the mid part of this fabric. What you're going to do, open it like this, place it on your bag. Make sure both center crease are matched, because if they are not, this side will be more fabric while this side will be lower fabric. So the best way, that is why I put them together, to have a center crease. So you just make sure they are both matched. Just take your time to do that, and then once the both center crease are matched, you pin them together like this. You just keep doing it like that. Make sure both center crease are matched and keep pinning. I have pinned it all together. This is how it is right now. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. You come down to this other side, you do the same thing, give it a top stitch all the way down. Once you have done that, then turn your bag like this. So you are just going to trim out the bust corner. Just take your scissors, trim this out, and you come down to this side, take your scissors, trim it out all together. Once you have done trimming it out, just give it a very tiny stitch to secure the fabric in place. You come down here, give it a tiny stitch just to secure the fabric in place. I have given it a top stitch. This is how it is. And you can see my top stitch right here, just to secure this fabric on the maid bag. This is how it is right now. The next thing that you have to do is to take your lining. This is my lining and the front of my lining. From the bottom edge, measure 5.5 inch. Place your measuring tape and you just measure it all around 5.5 inch all the way down. So you can see my marker right there. The next thing that you have to do, once you've measured 5.5 inch, you take your inside pocket. You can see my stitches right here. You see my 2 stitches right here. Take your inside pocket, fold it into 2 like this. Make sure when you're doing this, you take it to your ironing board and press it very well. So this will be your center crease. What you're going to do, you also take your lining, fold it into 2, take it to your ironing board, make sure you give it a nice press, and you have a center crease. So you just place the both center crease together like this. This is my 5.5 inch. Place it together, take your pin, go ahead and pin that in place. I have pinned my inside pocket on the lining. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, continue stitching from here all the way down and then across and all the way down. You're not stitching the top anymore. You can either get 2 stitches right here or 1 stitches, but the way I'm going to stitch the pocket on the lining, I stitch 2 stitches right at the top, so I will do the same thing at the both side of the pocket and at the bottom of the pocket. So go ahead and stitch your pocket in place. I have stitched the pocket on the lining. This is how it is right now. You can see my 2 stitches right here. This is how it finally looks. The next thing that you have to do, take the second pieces of your lining, place it on top of it like this. You are going to pin around the lining. Just pin the both lining together. So when you're pinning, pin the both side and the bottom edge. So go ahead and pin your lining in place. I have pinned my lining in place. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. You come down to the other side, give the top stitch all the way down. For the bottom edge, you're going to leave a gap. Leave about 3 inch or 4 inch. That depends on you. So from me, I will stitch from here to here. I will end here. I will stitch from here to here. I will end there. So go ahead and stitch the both side seam of your bag and the bottom edge. Remember to leave a gap. Once you have done with that, you take your maid bag. So make sure you also put the both sides seam together. Just go ahead and stitch the both side seam of your maid bag together. Push it inside. Make sure when you put it together, both front of the maid bag are facing each other like this, and stitch the both side seam. You are not going to stitch the bottom edge anymore because we have already stitched that before. So go ahead, stitch the both side seam of your maid bag, and also take your lining, stitch the both side seam and the bottom edge. Remember to leave a gap at the bottom edge. So go ahead and stitch that in place. I have stitched my lining in place. This is how it is, and this is my open gap right here. I take it to my ironing board. I press the seam apart. The next thing that you have to do, you're going to put the bust corner together like this. You see the way I'm doing it right now. Put them together. Make sure both seams are matched. Just go ahead and pin the bust corner together. Once you have done pinning, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. You come down to the other side, give it a top stitch all the way down. You will also do the same thing with your maid fabric. This is my maid bag. You also do the same thing. Put the both bust corner together, pin them in place, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. You come down to this other side, you do the same thing. Pin it together, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way down. My seam allowance is 1 centimeter. Go ahead and stitch them in place. I have stitched it together. This is how it is right now, and this is my lining. I just turn it inside out. This is the front of my lining, while this is the back of my lining. What you're going to do when you're going to put your lining inside your maid bag, so make sure you turn it inside out. This is the front. So what you're going to do, you place it inside like this. This is the back of my maid tote bag. So I want the pocket to be facing the other side. So I will just put it inside like this, and just go ahead and start pinning the bag all around like this. Make sure both seams are matched. Go ahead and pin everything together. I have stitched it all around. This is how it is. Make sure you stitch it all around. The next thing that you have to do, just pull your lining out. So the gap that you left open, this is where you're going to pull your bag inside out. So go ahead and pull your bag inside out like this. I have turned it inside out. This is how it is right now. The next thing that you have to do, take it to your sewing machine, give it a top stitch all the way around. So you're stitching the top edge of your bag. Once you have done that, then you pull your lining out like this. This is the open gap. What you're going to do, take it to your sewing machine, put them together like this. Just go ahead and give it a top stitch all the way down. Once you have done that, your bag is finally ready. Go ahead and stitch that in place.